back. I am live from my room, and we are talking about genotype and phenotype today. I know you guys just completed a form on this stuff last week, but I want to explain it in my own words just to make sure we're all on the same page and just in case anyone was a little confused about what these words mean. But first, I just want to remind us kind of where we are and where we are with grades. So these are all of the assignments that you guys have done that I have graded from day 3 all the way up to this assignment, which is day 9. These are all in the grade book. If you see that you have a Z for any of these assignments, please, you can still do them and turn them in. You can still get full credit. So if you are missing an assignment and you want to do it, still do it, and you will get a grade for it, I promise. There's no penalty for late work, and even if Teams says that it's late, it's not late, so you can do it. And then just another reminder, stay organized, guys. Stay organized, make a planner. I know it's really hard to keep track of all the things that you have to do and things that you have to remember for all your classes, especially with iReady now. So just make a planner like this so that you can write everything down and stay organized. You can cross this off as you get them done. It's really satisfying, and it helps you keep track of everything. So do it. Today we are just talking about 3 words. It'll be a relatively short video, hopefully. We're talking about genotype, phenotype, and allele. Those are the 3 things we're focusing on. Now, this is your first question on your exit ticket in this Google form. The question just asks, what are the 3 vocab words that we're talking about today? So I put a little Q1 up here in the corner to let you know this is question 1. Here's the answer. I'm giving it to you. Okay? So genotype and phenotype. When we say genotype, that is just the genetic code or the genes of something, what the DNA says. You can remember that with genetic. Let's see, I can get my marker here. You can remember that with genetic genotype. Now your phenotype is your characteristics, it's your characteristics or traits. It is how you look. So you can think of pheno as kind of like photo, so like how you look. Phenotype. Now, an easy way for me to remember this is to make an example. Let's say you want to make a chocolate cake, nice, yummy chocolate cake, maybe double, triple layered chocolate, dark chocolate, just so good. So you have your recipe, which is just a bunch of writing, right? Just a bunch of writing and a bunch of ingredients. Your recipe is just the genotype of the cake. And then once you're done, how it actually looks, that is your phenotype of the cake. Your genotype, just the genetics or just the code, just the ingredients of everything, instructions, and your phenotype is that final product. You can use lots of examples for this. An easy example that we like to use are, let's say we have a seed, some kind of vegetable seed. This vegetable seed has DNA, just like you and me have DNA. Now, in that DNA, those genes, it'll tell the seed whether it is going to have maybe smooth outer layer or that wrinkled outer layer. So this one on the left right here, that has a smooth outer layer. So it has a certain marking on the DNA, a certain gene. This one with the wrinkled has a different marking on their DNA. That's their genotype. It is the instructions on the DNA. Now your phenotype is just actually how that seed ends up looking. So the seed's phenotype, you can see it's smooth. The seed's phenotype, you can see it's wrinkled. I can even give you a third example. I got brown hair, right? Brown hair. Why do I have brown hair? Well, my DNA has instructions for how to build brown hair. So my genotype is on my DNA. It has a certain weird instruction. My phenotype ends up being that instruction creates hair that is the color brown. All right, question number 2 on your exit ticket. Which of the following describes a genotype? So remember, genotype, which of this is describing genes? Is height and weight of an organism referring to my DNA or kind of my traits, how I look? That is referring to how I look. So that one would be phenotype, not genotype. How about the color of an organism? Well, the color would be how it looks, right? So that's also phenotype. So that one's out. How about the personality of an organism? This one's kind of tough because you can't really see personality, but that is just how the trait is shown, basically. It's not referring to your DNA. This is referring to a phenotype, how that trait is shown. The genetic code of an organism, aka the DNA, is very, very close to genotype. Genetic code, gene, genotype. So the answer, D. All right, and then we got up to our last word, allele. So for allele, an allele is just one specific version of a gene, right? So if we want to take the gene of eye color, there's lots of different versions of eye color, right? You can have brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, black eyes, lots of different colors of eyes. Same thing with hair, right? There's lots of different versions of hair. You can have brown hair, you can have blonde hair, red hair, black hair, you can have white hair. I don't know if anyone can have green hair, I'm not sure, but these are just specific versions of all the same gene. The gene is hair color or eye color, but the versions are all different colors. So you can have lots of different alleles, which will determine how you look. Now, you have 2 alleles for every gene. You have 2 versions of every gene. Why would you have 2 versions of every gene? Why do you have 2 versions? Well, let's think back to sexual reproduction. How many parents do you have? Oh, well, you need 2 parents to reproduce. 1 allele from each parent. So I get an eye color gene from my mom, I get an eye color gene from my dad. I get a hair color gene from my mom, I get a hair color gene from my dad. I get a height gene from my dad, I get a height gene from my mom. I get foot size from my dad, and I get foot size from my mom. Everything you can imagine. You get 1 from each. Okay. Question number 3. An amoeba is a bacteria that reproduces asexually. How many alleles does it have for each gene? So if something produces, remember, asexually, what does that word mean? If it produces asexually, that means it only has 1 parent. This is hard to write with this marker. That's an E, sorry. Wow. That was hard. 1 parent. So 1 parent means 1 allele. You have 2 parents, 2 people that had to come together to create you. So you have 2. But this amoeba is asexual, so it only has 1. All right, and then this is our last question. This is it for today. Which of these statements is true? Your genotype controls your phenotype controls your genotype, or your genotype and phenotype are not related. Well, remember, genotype refers to our genes, our DNA, and phenotype refers to how we look or act. So, does our DNA control how we look? Does how we look end up changing our DNA? Or are they just not related at all? I think most of you got it by now. Our DNA is what controls how we look and act, right? So that means A. That's your last answer for the last question. That's all I have for you guys today. Assignment 10, which will talk a little bit more about genetics and alleles, will be posted on Thursday. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Good luck on your iReady. I miss you all very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.